So, would you say 2020 has changed you, or have you found that this year has just been a bit of a nuisance? Well, today I want to share with you some of the lessons that I have actually learned from 2020. And it could just be that I'm in a reflective mood because it's that time of the year when everybody's thinking about setting their goals and thinking about the new year and what they want to achieve in the new year, that it causes you to sit down and think, what has actually happened in 2020? Hi, I'm Yvonne and I am on a journey to financial freedom, and I am documenting all the tips and tricks that are helping me with my personal finances in the hope that it will help you. And in today's video, I really want to share with you some of the lessons that I have genuinely learned in 2020 as a result of being in lockdown. Now, for the most of the year, we've spent a lot of times in our home, and even though I would classify myself as an introvert and a homebody, the fact that I've had to stay at home and only travel for essential services had a slight impact on me as a person. But I am reflecting on some of the things and the habits that I've had to break and change, and they've had not only an impact on my personal growth and personal motivation, but I'm happy to say they actually have had a pound sign attached to them, and there have been some monetary compensations from switching some of the bad habits that I didn't even know I had. So if you're interested in this type of content, please make sure to hit that like button and please consider joining our community. Like I said, we are on a journey to financial freedom, so if you want to keep updated on all the latest information, please make sure, or if you just want to see how my journey is going, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Right, the first thing that has actually changed is the way I view transport. Now, I live in a city, I live in London, and I have access to a lot of transportation. I've got a car, I've got access to trains, I've got access to buses, I've got access to taxis at the convenience of my phone. So it's never ever been something that I've ever considered. For example, if I know that I'm going to work, I know that I'll just use a train, and it's not something that I consider, it's just something that has to be done, and there is a cost to that, but it's something that I can put in my budget. And again, I never ever thought about outside of work how much I was using my car. Now, whether it be, and I'm putting my hands up for this, whether it be 5 minutes or 50 minutes away, I would always consider using my car as my first option outside of work. Now, given that we've been in lockdown a lot this year and only being allowed to use our cars for essential travel, I have actually found myself walking a lot more, using my bike, and that has meant that I've not spent as much money on petrol. I have realized that actually I was driving my car to very close by places, and I found that actually thinking about what mode of transportation you use or lack of transportation you use can not only benefit your health, because let's be real, lockdown weight is a real thing. So it has enabled me to start thinking about walking out a lot more, thinking about actually whether or not I genuinely need my car or not, and that has had savings in itself, let alone not even to mention that I've had some cash back because my car insurers recognize that most people weren't going to be using the mileage that they had stated for their policy, and so are willing to give us that money back. And taking that in consideration, I'm now realizing that I genuinely need to think about my views on transportation and what mode of transportation is best for me. So if you are also in a similar place where you find yourself using your car for literally everything, consider whether or not it's actually the most effective, cheapest option there is, because you might find that actually walking lets you see places around you that you had never ever imagined. For example, I discovered a beautiful park right next to me that I wouldn't have otherwise recognized had I not needed to go out for a walk because I had been locked down for a long time. So do make the most of actually thinking about how you can minimize the use of your transportation costs, and of course is another way to save money. The next category where I have actually managed to change some really terrible bad habits as well as save some money has been around food. Now, I have to put my hands up and say that my food shop was something that I never had a budget for. I would just go buy whatever it is that I needed, and I would basically choose what I want rather than thinking effectively about what it is that we need to eat. Now that we're at home, it's actually given me the opportunity to think about cooking, because I genuinely do like cooking, but for me, I don't have time to sit down and meal prep and meal plan, all those things, because it was just for me a time waster. I was too tired and I just wanted to sleep. I valued my time for sleep more than I did to spend time in the kitchen meal prepping. But now that we've been locked down at home, there are 2 hours of travel a day that I was saving, that I could spend time genuinely on cooking dinner. So as soon as I finished work, I would just switch off my laptop and head to the kitchen. And that meant that I could genuinely sit down and think and reflect, what is it that we want to eat today? What is it that I'm willing? And I had more energy and enthusiasm to actually cook something from scratch rather than just going for the quickest, easiest convenience food available. Another thing that this has actually impacted again is the number of takeaways I was buying, because I have to be honest and say that convenience was much more of a priority to me than it was to spend time in the kitchen. And so because now we're at home and I've revived my passion for cooking, I now find that I actually spend less on takeaways and more on home cooking. And of course that has also meant that not only can I cook at home, but I can also think about what it is that I want us to eat for the entire week and meal prep in advance. And in turn has meant that I had to genuinely sit down and think about how much it is that I want to spend on my groceries or my food shop. And I'm happy to say that by the end of the year, I'm actually averaging about £12.50 per person per week. I'm still trying to get that down because I'm trying to be the best that I can. But for now, I think it's genuinely a good budget to have. Another benefit that has come from actually cooking more at home has meant that I have reduced the amount of food that I am wasting. Like I said, I would go shopping, I would have plans of grandeur as to how I was going to eat, but because on some days I was opting for convenience food, it meant that I would actually end up wasting a lot of vegetables and a lot of food because I wouldn't utilize them. So now I'm very much more conscious of the amount of food that I'm wasting, and I'm making a conscious effort to make sure that I use as much as possible and reduce the amount I'm throwing away in the bin. And that has also meant that I am saving money in the process, because I am very well aware of how much I'm spending, what I'm buying, and what I am cooking. So I am genuinely thankful for lockdown, because it has changed some terrible habits when it came to food for me, and I'm hoping it has done for you too. Let me know in the comments below, have you found that? Or maybe it's just me. The next thing has been around clothes spending. Now, I am by no stretch of my imagination a minimalist. I want to get to the point where I am minimalist, but one of my pastimes pre-lockdown was spending money on clothes, and I had accumulated an amount of clothes that even I am ashamed to say I had. But because we're all working from home, the pressure to wear formal attire has slowly diminished over the year. And now I just genuinely have a very small capsule wardrobe that I have for work and I use for that. And the rest is just basically based on the weather. And also because I had additional time at home, I decided to do that task of decluttering. And it's only then that I found out that actually I had been purchasing a lot of clothes and not using them, but just storing them away in the hopes that one day I will wear them, but not having the chance to in 2020. So it has genuinely changed my perception of spending and buying clothes, and the idea that you need more or need the latest fashion. And of course, whilst revising my budget, it came to my attention how much I was spending on clothes that were sitting in my wardrobe for nothing, which means it was just wasted money. So now I am very conscious of the fact that I don't want to be frivolously spending my money on clothes when they're simply going to come and sit in my wardrobe. I don't want that. So now I've started to adopt an approach towards a minimalist capsule wardrobe. I still have a long way to go, but it has enabled me to stop constantly buying clothes on a whim, and that way I've not only taken away a bad habit, but it has also saved me a significant amount of money, and I can use that money in another way. So a lot of that money went towards boosting up my emergency fund and also towards starting me on an investment journey. So it might be worth considering that actually, if you find yourself constantly buying clothes, to really sit down and think about how many of those items of clothing that you are purchasing do you genuinely wear, and what proportion of the clothes you own actually just end up sitting in the wardrobe for most part of the year, and then think about whether or not you need to adjust your spending habits, and that way not only kick a bad habit but also save you some money. Another area that has actually changed my mindset as well as saving me some money is around going out. Now in lockdown, it means that we could genuinely not go out, but as part of the work culture, as part of the friends culture, as part of the London culture, it's genuinely to embrace going out, because you are exposed to so many different things that you can try out and so many places that you can go out. And let's not forget how many amazing restaurants they are for you to try out. Exquisite cuisine. So going out was just something that you would naturally do. After work's drinks, let's go out for a quick pint. Yeah, why not? Let's buy you around. Let's buy the team around. Oh, there's a new restaurant opening here. Let's check that out. Okay. But because we've been in lockdown, it means that a lot of the things that we've had to do, the socializing that I've had to do, has had to be virtual. And it's genuinely changed my perception on how and when I meet my friends. Now, I'm not going to say that I am no longer going to be going out, because like I do say, I do actually enjoy the fact that I'm in a city where you can experience a variety of cultures and experiences that you wouldn't otherwise have exposure to. So I don't think I'm going to give it up, but I'm going to consider alternative ways of also spending time with my friends and family. One of those has been around actually utilizing the space that I have, making sure we think about creative ways to spend time. I mean, for one of my friend's birthday, we spent some time on an online escape room, which was such a great way to spend time with each other. And I just think that I'm going to start thinking about how I can be more creative in the way that I spend time with my friends. Not completely cutting out going out, but maybe reducing the frequency of how often I go out and just enjoying each other's company in a cheaper alternative. And to be honest with you, it saved me significant amounts of money, because I'm pretty sure you can try and estimate how much going out in London bill you can end up racking up if you constantly go out in London. So I'm more than happy to continue saving money in this particular area, but not completely cutting it out, because you gotta enjoy yourself. And then another lesson that I've learned is to just enjoy the home that I have. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm a homebody. I am introverted. I know it's hard to believe, but I actually am, and I genuinely do like spending time alone. I don't have any problems with being in my own company and entertaining myself, so I don't have a problem with spending time at home. But because of lockdown, I have had time, more than enough time to be in my own home, and it's in reflection that I've realized that I wasn't really enjoying the space that I have. Now, for a lot of people, we spend a huge amount of money making sure we furbish our homes to a high spec or to our taste. And it's such a shame that for the most part, a lot of people don't actually stay at home and enjoy themselves. So being at home has meant that I've actually managed to not only transform my space into a space that I absolutely love, but also to genuinely sit at home and enjoy being at home. And I think for me, this is something that I'm definitely going to take forward in the next year and the next years to come, is to genuinely enjoy the space that I'm in, and to invite a lot more people into my space and let them come and enjoy my home. And obviously you save money because you can all entertain one another. There's no time constraints. People can stay as long as they want, and you can enjoy each other's company without having to have a hefty bill. So I genuinely have enjoyed being at home, and because we're in this reflective mood, I've thought about how much more I've become in terms of my frugality and how much it is genuinely helping me on my journey to financial freedom and to reach some of these financial goals that I have. Now, I'm super excited for the next year and to also stretch myself and challenge myself to be even more frugal and to be better with my money. Let me know in the comments below, what has lockdown meant for you? Have you found some positives out of lockdown? Or do you think that actually your spending habits completely spiraled out of control because of lockdown? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. Please make sure to check out all these videos which will show you all the frugal tips that I'm doing and all the frugal hacks that I have implemented in my life that are helping me with saving money and reaching my financial goals. And also don't forget to join me every Sunday for a live chat where we will be discussing everything around money. And until the next video, thank you so much for all your support. Do take care. Bye. Mwah.